Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to yet another episode of Low Budget Remake, a segment where I will be trying to reconstruct some amazing visual and special effects out there in the entertainment industry at almost no cost at all. Alright, so today we are attacking John Wick Chapter 3, a scene from John Wick Chapter 3 where he tries to, well no, he actually did it, right? So he cut off his finger. It's John Wick, come on, he cut off his finger. Simple stuff. So where John cuts off his finger, let's see how this one goes. Now keep in mind that for a Hollywood budget, such a scene usually involves the use of fake blood and fake body parts, which the actor simply has to cut through and no one gets hurt. But we don't have that. We don't have a Hollywood budget. We are broke, but we still want to pull this off, right? So for this scene to look convincing, here's what we need. Hand in position, finger movement, hand with a clenched finger, a weapon, blood, color correction and grading, and sound design. Firstly, you need to place your hand in a position where this finger that is being cut off, all right, whatever finger you choose to cut off, but this finger that is being cut off, make sure that it's kind of isolated from the other fingers. Don't put them too close, right? So kind of isolate the target finger from the other fingers. Make sure you're comfortable and barely making any unnecessary movement. The main idea here is to firmly place your hand on the table like it's about to get butchered, because it is about to get butchered. You should also make sure that only the tip, alright, in the first shot obviously, it's a continuous shot, but for starters, make sure the tip of the finger being cut off, only the tip is touching the table, not the entire finger, just the tip. Now once your hand is firmly placed and good to go, you can now put the rest of the finger, alright, the rest of the finger on the table. Place it on the table. Try to imagine that part of the finger falling off from the rest of your hand. Once you have that sorted out, use your other hand to clench your finger like this. Make sure that this is super uncomfortable, but make sure that once the finger is tucked in, all right, this remaining part is aligned with the other fingers. Don't let it pop out like that, all right? I know it's uncomfortable, but try by all means to not let it pop out. Make sure it's aligned with the other fingers. This is the murder weapon, guys. This is evidence right here. So I don't, you know, like, okay, no further details about what this exactly is, but make sure you have a weapon rather that is flat, you know, so that if you strike in that direction, you're able to cut off something. You have to really be careful, because fake finger cutting can easily turn into real finger cutting in seconds. The goal here is to strike the weapon close to your clenched finger. Make sure you're in line with the trajectory of the finger. So once all the footage is good to go, it's time to cook it up in software. I use two of my favorite. In fact, almost for everything I probably use these genius softwares. So that's After Effects and Photoshop. So firstly, align the footage with the clenched finger to the one with the finger in its normal position, and then create a mask around the part which will fall off. Freeze the frame and feather the edges so that the separation isn't visible. Once the finger looks intact, move the footage forward to the point where the weapon firmly touches the table. Save the frame as a Photoshop file. Once in Photoshop, polish up the edges of the finger piece, if I can call it that, to make it look like it's actually been cut off. Create a mask around the edited finger and save it separately as a PNG file. Jump back into After Effects. This time, move the footage with the finger in its normal position to the frame where the part being cut off is on the table. Save the frame as a Photoshop file. So once you have the cut off part in Photoshop, create separate layers for the blood. This process is freestyle to say the least. Just try to visualize a cut off finger. Add some blood on both the weapon and the finger and throw in some necessary shadows where needed. Save the weapon's blood and the finger's blood separately as PNG files because the animation will also be done separately. Next up is the wound. Conjure up some raw meat pictures that match the inside of a human finger. We've all seen that before, guys. Don't pretend. Shape it up and position it in a way that makes the edge of the clenched finger look like it's been cut off. Head back into After Effects and load up the PNG files. The first thing you need to do is deal with the impact of the weapon. Move the frame where the weapon touches the finger. At this point, move the frame forward and switch from this finger to this finger. This should create an illusion of the finger being cut off. Next is the blood. Set its opacity to 0 and few frames after the strike, increase it accordingly. Do this opacity thing for both the blood on the finger and the weapon. Animate the position of the blood on the weapon as you pull it back. Make sure it sticks all the way. For the wound, animate its mask according to the position of the weapon. This should realistically reveal the wound as if it was really at the back of the weapon. Once that is set, add some green screen stock footage of blood flowing. Just make sure it is aligned with the base where the hand is placed. Create a mask around the fingers so that they appear like they're on top of the blood. With such a scene, the shadows are your best friend. They hide some really shady stuff, so make sure the color grading isn't on the bright side. There are 3 key sounds that you need to throw into the mix, right? And make sure that these sounds are not exaggerated. You need the actor, or rather the victim's reaction, because it's painful, right? So the victim has to react to the pain. You also need the sound of the finger being cut off, and you also need the sound of the slam, or rather the impact of the weapon on the table. So now take out your popcorn, let's finally see what we created. I like to believe that was 80% convincing. Obviously, come on, like so much could have been done with the goods, you know. with good motivation. But hey guys, thank you so much for clicking, for watching this video rather until the end. That's if you did. Be sure to hit that subscribe and that like button. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what effect you want to see me pull off next. Let's do big things on a tiny budget, guys. I'll talk to you in the next video.